Welcome to the Dirty Folks Podcast. Because of problems with the app, you can only hear one side of the audio, but it's still phenomenal information, phenomenal conversation. So enjoy this podcast. Dirty Folks. Dirty Folks. Dirty Folks. No soap. No soap. All right, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. This Oak Summers, aka Dirty Folks. I don't know what we calling this show, but it's gonna be some real shit. Today we're gonna be talking about Kapernick and how we see it from a male perspective. Anyway, man, I have pleasure to have a guest host today because I hate talking to myself. Bro, introduce yourself. Man, no question, man. All right, so check this out, though. Me and my mans, we was talking earlier, well, interacting via Facebook Messenger, and we were talking about how sheepish, you know what I'm saying, the pro blacks are, right? So I had a few questions, he had a few statements, and we want to share them with y'all right now, man. What were you saying to me, bro? Yeah. Well, let's start at the beginning so people can get the full context. We was talking about first of all if Cap even deserved to be in the NFL based on his play. Yep. That's the Super Bowl I was like, yo, was that the light out Super Bowl? It was like for an hour, all the lights went out. I, Alex Smith. Alex Smith. I'm gonna add something else to that, just to be Kaepernick related. Cause when you said, man, they stay with the high hand, I'm getting mad in my soul. Like, yo, they should have left. Uh, the Bears should have left Rex Grossman on the bench for the Super Bowl. But anyway, um, here's my thing. Here's what I remember about that. Cause I was rooting for the 49ers. I don't know why, but I was just cause I wanted to see a good game because they were getting blown out. Right. This is what this is what I remember though. At no time at that time as a Super Bowl quarterback was Colin Kaepernick even black. When the hell did Colin Kaepernick become black? Exactly. That's my point. Think about it. We support all black quarterbacks from Randall Cunningham to Slash. We riding with Mike Vick with the dogs. You know what I'm saying? We even like RG3. We talk about black quarterbacks when they do off field issues. We find amusing, like uh, what's my name, Cam Newton dressing like a grandma, or you know what I'm saying, or RG3 marrying a white girl. We talk about black quarterbacks. I've never heard Colin Kaepernick's name come up in those, racially charged conversations about black quarterbacks. But now he had a chemical blowout, and now he's the face of black people. It amazes me. He- Here's there's a lot of here there. I think the NBA did a great job in marketing sons of single mothers, right? The NBA did a phenomenal job of making their athletes globalist instead of tribalist. Men are tribal. I don't even care what their ethnicity is. Men are tribal. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the British don't even like the Irish, and they on the same island. You know what I'm saying? So you're taking a tribalist people, and you're the NBA is doing a great job of promoting globalism through LeBron James and a bunch of other single moms who just need a father figure, right? But people forget in the 90s, if the social media was out, we had Colin Kaepernick before. We had Chris Jackson, who turned his name to Mahmoud Rauf, and he didn't put his hand over his heart for the national anthem. And he was an all star, and they kicked him out the league the next year, the year after he made the All Star game. You had, right, you had Craig Hodges, who took a letter to President Bush after the Bulls won the championship and said, yo, these are the reparations that we need. He just was a two-time 3-point champion, and they kicked him out the league. They don't even talk about him in history. Look, they talk about Paxton's shot. They talk about Steve Kerr's shot. They don't even talk about the winning shot to Hodges. They erase Hodges from history. So, so no uproar because they thought because he was woke before woke was a thing. He was woke when everybody was still yelling Tupac, Thug Life. He was woke. So there was no uproar. So what Kaepernick is doing. So here's my second question, bro. When did this become about Cap? Because I thought it was about police brutality. When did the NFL become the police? Like, when did it become Cap against the NFL? Ness Nitty. Ness Ness Nitty, the white girl. I said it for I man, we been called. Here's something else. Of all the foundations that Colin Kaepernick has donated to, and there's been a lot of inner city youth charities. I'm not knocking the charity. Please don't take what I'm about to say as a knock against this charitable event, right? Even though it's not his money, even though it's other people's money. My thing is, very few of them have to do with police brutality. There aren't they they he did deal with, like I said, with at risk youth, and at risk youth are targets for police brutality. But once again, I'm not knocking it. Whatever helps these kids, you know what I'm saying, survive single motherhood, God bless. But what I am saying is that if you if you have a cause, right, and you're the face of the cause, you're the martyr of the cause, then if there's not something, because there's not a lot of police brutality um nonprofits out here. It's not a targeted thing to go against the cops, right? But if there's not one, if you are the martyr, you are that man, then you create one. You understand what I'm saying? A, a Colin Kaepernick Foundation dedicated to police brutality would have gone just as far as the organizations that have their own charter and their own agendas that he's donating to. You feel what I'm saying? S- And I agree. I agree 110%. I'll even go as far as saying this. When you go into his background, and I don't want to call this the Obama effect, even though it reeks of Obamaism, but I know how black people like symbolism. There are no black people in his background. As far as his friends, his girlfriends, his parents, both his parents are white. People say he's mixed, but he is, but he's also a foster kid. He was adopted by two white parents. His entire, if you look at his class pictures when he was a kid, he looked like the average either Arab or Italian kid. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of melanin, but pretty much just a regular white kid. He was raised in that culture. I'm not knocking him for being raised in that culture. But to come in and then your crusade becomes what it's become, and to a point that you act like you identify with it, but you've never been in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? He look Arab. There, my problem with the, I don't have a problem with Colin Kaepernick as a person, as an individual. I don't have a problem with what um his proposed marketed agenda is. What I do have a problem with, and I've always had a problem with this, is the narration of the story and the brand ambassadors of my story. If my story is heterosexual black male, then my story should be told by heterosexual black males. You understand what I'm saying? When you have a movement that's funded by a Jew, run by liberal white women, and the brand ambassadors are lesbian black women, but it's supposed to be for black male police brutality. You know what I'm saying? And I man, God bless the dead. I have nothing against um and what was her name? Sandra Bland. But they needed a Sandra Bland just to say it's all black people, not just men. Even though we know it's predominantly men. You know what I'm saying? If they could have scripted it any better, Sandra Bland was the perfect, you know, pseudo revolutionary, pro black woke woman that they could have found. And I'm once again, it has nothing to do with Sandra Bland. We're talking about optics, right? But that's not that's that's not our cause because it's not biased. I'm about to get off the topic just a little bit. I'm about to die, but I'm gonna get right back to Cap on how I feel about this. One of the things that I would like to do before I die is set up a housing agency and a boarding school just for black boys, just for black boys, because I understand, and I come from a two-parent household, but I understand the toxicity of guys that come from single parent households, and I understand how the narration gets flipped from um she stole his kid to he's a deadbeat. You know what I'm saying? I have friends that are 40 years old now who I reconnected with it on Facebook, you know, high school friends who met their fathers on Facebook and their mom said he was dead. I have I have been on blocks with guys and this we 20 deep. We 20 deep on the block. And dudes are just crack a joke like, yeah, none of us got daddies. And me and like two of the other guys be like, out of 20 dudes, three of us had dads. We're like, no, nigga, we got dads. And they be like, oh man, no wonder y'all the coolest niggas, man. Y'all mellow as shit. Because we were taught how to manage our emotions. Because there's nothing more dangerous than an emotional man. So it's there's a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? But there's a hierarchy everywhere. It's a hierarchy of job, in Boy Scouts and basketball. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get a trophy, but Michael Jordan is a star. You know what I mean? So the thing about matriarchy is they don't believe in hierarchy. They just believe in chaos. They believe if you do it, I can do it too. But it's only the most toxic things. The only most toxic things can everybody do. The positive things can't be done. So one of my goals is to have a boarding school so I can give single mothers a place to send their kids and still feel like a good parent. Because they feel like a failure if they give the kids to their fathers. But they feel like an upstanding parent if they can send their kids to boarding school like the rich people. Once again, it's all social engineering. You know what I'm saying? I look at these situations like the Colin Kaepernick, and I say, man, everybody just wants an advocate, but they want an advocate that they're comfortable with. They want a non-threatening advocate to match their non-threatening activism. You know what's crazy? They don't even use black people. They use black women, but the calls will be about black men. It, all the time, every time. I watch these all these nonprofits. Most urban the visual urban nonprofits are run by women. That doesn't mean they're the most effective. That doesn't mean they're the only ones. It just means that when I see activism, when I see people say, man, we're going to stand on the block and stop crime, and I say, yo, you could probably stop crime if you talk to these girls in high school before they had the kids and tell them, yo, check this out, don't do trifling shit. because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. 90% of protection is prevention. They don't want that. They want to be able to blame males for the destruction of communities that are run by primarily women, right? They need the same way you need a face of activism, you need a face of terrorism. And they're comfortable with their sons, their brothers, their fathers being the face of terrorism to the point that they've convinced other black men that all black men are the face of terrorism. But let me tell you something, bro. If every black man was the thug that they said they were, it would be the OK Corral every day. It'd be shoot ups every day. Cause everybody tough, right? The the truth is there are very few people who do deleterious acts, but the majority of them come from those type of situations. Anyway, but that's a topic for another day, another podcast. The Kaepernick thing hurts me. Not Kaepernick himself. I don't care what he does. It hurts me that you listen to so many. Like the new rave right now is everybody should work for themselves, right? Be your own boss, create your own legacy, do your own thing. But if you looked at this as an economic situation, because if you looking for the answer to any problem, follow the money, right? As a boss, would you even hire an employee that sued you already? So, and you said something interesting about this. Why do you think that they put him back in the car? There, pro-black is just black feminism with penis, right? That's all pro-black is feminism for boys. And feminism is mental illness, so feminism for boys. Both answers are acceptable. The my my thing is this. I look at things from a corporate standpoint, right? I say what works, what doesn't. I don't have a problem, and I don't think you're saying you got a problem either. I don't have a problem with people working for another ethnicity. Not at all. What I do have a problem with is the effeminate nature of which how people handle things. Because once you tell a black man that he shouldn't trust men, and you give all examples in your personal life to your sons and daughters about all the deleterious things that men have done to you, why you feel the way that you feel about men. And life is simple, bro. Life is simple. You don't see it until you see it. For instance, if I've never seen a red Explorer until I bought a red Explorer, once I buy mine, what you think I'm gonna see on the street all day? You know what I'm saying? So if I've never seen a person do me wrong, but you telling me that these type of people do me wrong, the first time I see it, I'm gonna say, yo, that's what they told me. All them people do that. So that's what happens. So once you get rid of that black, being black is like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. You ever notice how Santa becomes Jesus? Like when you were a kid, they tell you, man, Santa sees if you're naughty or nice. Santa knows when you sleep, when you awake. Be good, or Santa won't bring you a Christmas gift. And then all of a sudden you turn around 8, 9 years old, like, oh man, Daddy Santa. Like, oh yeah, well Santa was I was just playing about Santa, but let me tell you about Jesus. Jesus know when you sleep, when you awake. He know when you good or you bad. And if you don't do right, he not gonna let you in heaven. So you're not gonna get an afterlife. That's even bigger than a Christmas gift. And the same way, and even the pictures of God and Santa look alike. You know what I'm saying? It's the same dude. Except God got a white outfit, Santa got a red outfit. Same features, same body type, same character, right? But it's true. Where's the lie, right? But here's the thing: the same thing with being black. Black is a tribal thing, man. Black, but then they teach black, which is a color, and they teach it to be a culture, and everything about the culture is dysfunctional. And they say, yo, be dysfunctional or you'll be real. You're only real if you're dysfunctional. If you can read past a third grade level, you're a nerd. If you do things in a functional, systematic way, you're a coon. You have to be dysfunctional to be black. And you have to empower women and let women be functional societally, even though they're dysfunctional at home, if you want to maintain the blackness. Letting the toddlers run the daycare. The but even that is strictly based on sexual preference, because guys who don't worry about guys who don't you could sell dope, you could be as toxic as possible. If you don't worry about a girl, you'll be rich in a year. There's a added component of literally sleeping with the enemy that comes with that. So it's not that even if boys tease you for being a nerd as a kid, when they get older, they respect intelligence. They respect aptitude. A lot of times, a lot of these males don't get their first dose of logical, rational thought until they go to prison and talk to older cats that's well read and school them. And that shouldn't be. You shouldn't have to be in an all male captivity to learn manhood. But once again, I said I'm doing boarding school, so it is what it is. But that shouldn't be your first time immersed in logic. Is being forced to be around a bunch of guys that had to learn a lesson. So I totally get what you're saying. And my I lost my train of thought where I was gonna go with it. But the Kaepernick part of it is I hate the way that people identify a struggle with a person. You understand what I'm saying? Like most people who are ambitious, most people who are successful, you would not like if you're an emotional person. And the reason you won't like them is because they're a person of principle. They're a person of integrity, they're a person of belief, and they work their belief system. And you will not agree with it. I like Chick-fil-A waffle fries, right? There's nothing about the owner saying, I'm a heterosexual man and I believe in heterosexual relationships that makes the waffle fries bad or makes them discriminate against gays. It's just his personal belief. But the people on him will be people. Here's what's so crazy. They're a bisexual chick. It's the people. Man, look. Anytime you tell a girl 2 plus 2 is 4, and she's like, nah, it's 2 plus 2 is 22, because it's two, squawk. You be like, nah, it's 4. You just hate women. You must be gay. But bitch, you bisexual. Like I'm just logical. So I just remember my train of thought. Exactly. But not only is that insanity, that's when it's males, it's globalism and pro blackness. It's the problem I have with LeBron James. My problem with LeBron James is not, well, I don't even care that he uses Nike's money to fund all this stuff. My problem with LeBron James is he doesn't take a stand. He just takes a photo, if that makes sense. Like, I know his background. I know he came from a horrible situation. I also know, here's my problem though. I also know that who saved LeBron? White people. When LeBron mom was doing every dick, every dope, you know what I'm saying? They have a editorial talking about LeBron James has never lived in a place with his mother, and they stayed for the term of the lease. For the term of the lease, that's 12 months. You've moved around so much because she's so irresponsible that you haven't lived in one place for 12 months. Your stability came from your girlfriend who became his wife, marrying your high school sweetheart, A1, shout out to LeBron, and a bunch of white people who took you in so you can go to a school in another district and have a stability after he missed those 89 days out of school. You know what I'm saying? They was about to kick him out. And they said, man, we see something. It was athletic in his situation, but white people helped you for you to turn around at 30 years old and say, I always felt apprehensive around white people. How, dude? You've been around since you was 15. They saved you. Y- They always get the props. Sierra gets props for Russell Wilson getting a contract. The Kevin Durant mom is such a helicopter mom. She's not a bad mom, but you could tell her son is also her husband. That, you know what I'm saying, she still kiss him in the mouth and clean his eyes on national TV when he won the championship. There's a push to make sure that black males have single moms. And nothing pissed me off more than when Golden State won the championship on Father's Day and the entire broadcast was about mothers. Like, look at Kevin Durant's mother. Look at Draymond Green's mother. We talking about the two most emotional motherfuckers in the league. But but you in Golden State and you got Dale Curry in the stands. You know what I'm saying? You have what was Clay Thompson's dad name? I can't think of Clay's dad's first name. But he's in the stands. Both of these are ex NBA players. They taught the jump shot to their kids. You know what I'm saying? You have all these father figures. You know how quick we went from Michael Jordan winning his first title on Father's Day and his dad hugging him to Now on Father's Day, you're memorializing single mothers. That's the agenda. The agenda is to create a culture where blacks worship their mom because they don't do it to any other culture. So then you get used to taking female authority, which makes no sense because women make no sense. So now you have something like a Colin Kaepernick who's being led by Ness Nitty, and nobody thinks that that's odd. Nobody thinks it's yeah. I heard she run his Twitter account. So you have somebody you're following somebody who is such, and he's supposed to be a leader. He's a quarterback. You're supposed to be able to be a leader of men, but you got your girl talking for you. Nobody thinks that's suspicious. You know what I mean? If people see what they paid to see, and when I say that, I say this: if I pay $40 a week to to advertise, and every time you turn around, all you see is me on your timeline, right? Whatever image I give you, that's who you will believe me to be. It doesn't matter if you know me or not. That's what you'll believe me to be. It's the reason that the Empire Man been dead, but I still remember the Empire phone number. You know what I'm saying? Two, 300. You know what I'm saying? I can beat anything into your head and make you feel me. So I paid for your thought because you can't think for yourself. The reason that people rallying behind Cap is because they can't think for themselves. Black matriarchy is just emotional. It feels good, so it must be right. It it doesn't have to make sense. Because if you say, yo, it don't make sense we fight in the NFL for a dude who got paid by the NFL. And then here's something else. People forget. The 49ers offered him a $40 million extension the year before, and he turned it down to see if he can go on the free market. And then the next year he got benched. And the next thing you know, he's kneeling. So you got paid by the NFL, you got paid by Nike. Then you sued the NFL, and they could have beat the case, but they didn't want the bad press, so they just paid you to go away. And then you had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so you couldn't talk about that, even though you wasn't talking in the first place. And now you come back to the NFL and tell them what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do, and people think that's revolutionary. You can't ask to go back into quote unquote slavery. If you call it, I think that's dumb too. When did athletes become slaves? When did athletes? When did professional sports become the plantation? When you know what I've never heard of? I've never heard of 10,000 hours being placed in anything to become a master, and to become a master now you're a slave. You know what I'm saying? How do you go from Pop Warner football to fresh soft football to high school, you know what I'm saying, varsity football to college football, and you play football from 6 years old to 20, and all of a sudden, because you made it in the profession you trained for your whole life, now you're a slave. How? Makes no sense. But I think that that's matriarchy problems. I know that's a matriarchy problem. People think I'm hard on women, but I say, yo, because girls are stupid. Girls need structure. Girls need leadership. Girls need guidance. And if you think like a girl, you need that too. There's no reason that people still marching 65 years because they didn't want to make a 7 year plan. When you look at how they erase black males in history, from OW, what was his name? OW, I can't think his last name for nothing right now. But he was the millionaire who funded Black Wall Street. Erased from history. People remember Black Wall Street, don't remember the one dude who funded it. But they remember that Madam C.J. Walker made combs to turn black girls and give them white hair. They remember that. They remember Harriet Tubman did a minor thing, and if she's real, because some people say she's fictional. They remember Harriet Tubman showed slaves how to make it to the Underground Railroad. Hundreds of people were doing that. The Underground Railroad was run by abolitionists, which were white people. You feel what I'm saying? And if she was real, she was a federal spy. So they remember her, but they forget Frederick Douglass, who was literally called the father of Negroes and was the first black man to go from slavery to writing books to being speaker to ending up in the White House with Abraham Lincoln. He created what they call the Secretary of Urban something, what the case may be. But every president, except Barack Obama, every president since Abraham Lincoln had some black person in the cabinet to tell them what black people want. Frederick Douglass created that. He was you faded out. You said what, bro? You still fading out. You fading out, bro. I'm losing you. All right, there you go. I can hear you now. Yeah. So there's always somebody, but there's never. But that was Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass created that element. So there's nothing proprietary that black males do that black people embrace. They look for the matriarchy. They seek it out because they seek dysfunction. Slavery only can exist through women. Did you know that? It has to be taught from mother to child. There's a very natural reaction in males. It's nature. It's not social conditioning. It's not nurture. It's nature. There's a very strong natural occurrence in boy children to protect his pussy. Right? It doesn't matter what his pussy is. It's protect his pussy. So 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 basically what ends up happening is, have you ever dated a single mom? Have you ever dated a single mom? Well, over 18, they all single. Anyway, have you ever noticed that a boy can be 2, 3 years old, but if you walk in that house, he'll fight you? Protect protect his pussy. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be his sister, it could be his mother, it could be his grandmother. If it is a woman, there's a natural disposition if no other man is around for him to just naturally ingratiate himself into that slot to protect her. A woman has to tell her son to stand down in order for that not to happen. That's not an occurrence that happens when a boy is raised by his father. There's a natural deference to a father from a son until he becomes of age, and then then you challenge for the pride. But initially, when you're that young, you don't challenge for the pride. You're learning from the master. You feel what I'm saying? But if there is no master there, it- just intrinsically, that's what they do. So that means that from birth, from the first time that they have a concept of what's going on, women have to create a slave mentality in their sons and their children to make them back down. Little girls don't fight you like that. Little boys, they always about that action. You know what I'm saying? Even when I think about 30 years ago when what's the comedian? Um I can't think his name. Robin Harris. When Robin Harris came out with Baby Kids and was like he went to date a single mom and she had a son up there that was drinking coffee, popping no dos to make sure he don't mess with the mama. It's a natural occurrence. Natural. I'm gonna tell you how natural it is. I went to a girl's house one day. She had a 5 year old son. He tried to cock block me. He 5 years old. He up as long as I'm up. I stayed at her crib till like 11:30 at night. He's wide awake. He's wide awake. He not going. I tell Shorty, I said, looky here. I said, man, he really tired. I said, he's just trying to protect his pussy. I said, watch this. I'm gonna prove it to you. Watch this. I said, I'm gonna go in the bathroom. I want you to open the door and say, okay, bye, and close the door like I left. So we did that. 2 minutes later, Shorty dead sleep, dead to the world. Because he felt his job was done. She's a girl. She ain't say nothing. She's like, oh, it was right here. But she didn't learn a lesson from it because she a girl. Girls don't learn. They just, you know, frivolous. Some dead ass, man. Dead ass. So, but that's a natural thing. So if you're talking about that blacks have a slave culture, that's not a slave culture. That's a matriarchy culture. As a man, right? As a man, I'm welcome wherever men are, right? Guaranteed. If there's a man, if I operate as a man, I'm 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 welcome wherever men are. Guaranteed. There's a there's a problem that American blacks have with Africans because they say they're aggressive or whatever the case may be. But those guys operate as men. And you see the type of things that they do. I do understand that most immigrants are the top, the top of the line people that those other nations had to offer, but it doesn't change what it doesn't change. You know what I mean? So when you look at during Jim Crow, and black people love to talk about Jim Crow and integration. During Jim Crow, everybody who wasn't British or French was discriminated against. There were signs that said no Asians, no Italians, no Jews, no Irish, no blacks, no Mexicans, no dogs. Once that was ended, once Jim Crow was ended, everybody else stepped up as a man and said, yo, I want to be at the table. Now I'm looking at situations where they're building a casino in Chicago. It's almost $1 billion project. And the Lithuanians are at the table. Of course, the Irish are at the table because Chicago's an Irish city. The Arabs are at the table. The Mexicans are at the table. And there's no blacks at the table, but they say they got to get a black something. So they allotted 47 million for janitorial and sanitation for the blacks as a subcontract though, under Lithuanian contractors. And everybody's crying foul, but I say, yo, where's the men at? You killing your men. When I say that, I don't even mean it literally. I mean it figuratively. You're killing your men. Anytime a man steps up and say, yo, this is man stuff, they be like, oh my God, he's growling. Oh my, no. Because they need Matriarchy demands that men are subservient to the woman. They call it equality, they call it egalitarianism, but it's subservience. They need Women know that men are better than them. They know this. I had to take a self evaluation and think about how many told me in my life, like, yo, I don't even know why you messing with me. Or if your money was better, you wouldn't even talk to me. Or man, if you wasn't here, I've been in hole in the walls for people birthday parties and came through and girls like, man, you too fresh to be in this type of spot. What are you here? You like a downtown nigga. You know what I'm saying? Man, filthy. Because they know that you're better than them. But the but men being so benevolent, men say, you know what? I'm cool with everybody. Like I don't feel like anybody's better than me. I feel like there's a couple people worse than me, but I don't feel like anybody's better than me. And the people, and they very well may be. They may be taller, richer, whatever. But men don't operate in that stratus. You know what I'm saying? So I can hang out with millionaires and they'll be like, yo, how'd you even get in the car? I'm like, it don't matter, I'm in the car now, bitch. You know what I'm saying? And we can and they're willing to, if you're intelligent, if you operate as a man, they're willing to give you the game that it takes in order for you to get to the position that they in. They still don't want you to be better, but they so much higher that you're good, they'll just still be rising too. You know what I mean? Like if to use drug vernacular, if I'm on ounces and you on a key, what by the time I get to a quarter key, you want 20 keys. By the time I get to 20 keys, you supplying the whole land and nobody even knows who you are anymore. They just think I'm the man now. And you the silent partner. You know what I'm saying? So so like it doesn't hurt a man because that's hierarchy. That's system. There's no hierarchy, and that's how Colin Kaepernick is giving in. I'm trying to keep on focus, but that's how Colin Kaepernick slips in because there's no hierarchy. So anybody who seems like they're doing anything for anybody gets a free ride. Nobody hates black male intelligence more than black people, right? So if that's the case, is white supremacy really your enemy? The dude that killed me could have been my son. I came back. From my understanding, he dead now. But shit, I got bullet holes for the rest of my life because of that little stupid motherfucker. And I know he was raised by a single mother. This is how you know nobody goes to the cause, right? They go to the violence, they don't go to the cause. There's never been a time in my life that I met somebody who was in the crib. Let's say you're 17 years old, right? You're a 17-year-old boy in the crib playing PS4. You got a sandwich, you got a soda, you in your boxers, you doing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? You might be online, got the headphones on. You know what I'm saying? You chilling, you got your favorite music playing in the background. And in all this tranquility, you say to yourself, you know what? Let me go and get dressed, go outside and kill somebody. The home has to be toxic for the community to be toxic. Exactly. Ex- it's the reason that happens, and people like to blame the men. I don't blame. I even hear men blame men, be like, "Yo, she shouldn't lay down with Pookie." The truth of the matter, and then I turn around and hear girls say, "Well, your mama was a single mama. Why are you so confident that he grew up without a dad, and then you feel confident that you can do better raising your kid without a dad?" So it's already a fuck men type of situation from the giddy up. So here's where guys go wrong. Here's where men go wrong. And I've always preached this. Number one, never judge a man by the words of a woman. That's number one. But besides that, where men break down is how nature happens. We're back to nature, and then we're back to the nurture that creates the slavery because women don't want to see their sons be born, be men, which is crazy because he's only a baby when he's 6 to save the kids. As soon as that little nigga turn 12 and get some peach fuzz, he one of them niggas. So what's crazy though is women want control. Men are supposed to want power. It's a duality, right? Women's job is to control the power, and that's no problem. So think of it like this: electricity is power, right? You call it power. Call it power. You can control electricity with a 69-cent light switch. And then what do? You call the light switch power, like turn off the power. But it's not, it's the control mechanism for the power. So now you have men mistaking control with power because they never seen power because they grew up under matriarchal control. And now they think women and men can do the same type of things, but they can't because girls are stupid. And then men replace power with money because women want money. So they're always talking because women don't even want money. They just want stuff. They ain't even got to see a dime. They just want stuff. But men, but men have to have money to get her stuff, right? Just stuff. You go into a guy's apartment and you go to a woman's apartment and you know immediately whose apartment it is. You know what I'm saying? Because men don't need a headboard. Men don't need blinds and curtains. You know what I'm saying? Men have the basic with the basics. Women need stuff because apparently being a woman sucks. So they need things without a beauty to feel better about the inner ugly, right? So, through all this accumulation of stuff men have to pay for, men mistake money for power. But money is just a tool to be used for the exchange of goods and services to get stuff, just to get stuff, just stuff. Fuckers just want stuff. For real. And then they take that stuff and then they get more stuff. And then they give the old stuff away. There wasn't even nothing wrong with the old stuff. Every year income tax season, you guarantee girls gonna get a used car and new furniture. What's wrong with the old furniture? Stuff. Buy stuff, replace stuff, move stuff, throw stuff away. Whole life is stuff. Now you want to put leadership, I don't care if it's Ness Nitty or your mama, you want to give them control of your power to a person who don't know what the fuck they want to eat. You can't make a basic decision that you're hungry, and I say, yo, what you got a taste for? I don't know. If you don't even know what you want to eat, how in the fuck are you gonna tell me something? Like, if I go to a school, they have a meal plan for 30 days. You know what I mean? If I worship a religion, I know I got to eat fish on Fridays. You don't know what you want to eat never. So if you can't even take care of that, if you don't even know your body, I don't listen to women when women tell me what they like. You know why? That too. I don't listen because everything a girl likes, a man had to tell her. Women don't have a concept of what they like. Every restaurant they like, somebody took them. If she like doggy style, who fucked you from the back, bitch? You couldn't fuck yourself from the back. How you know you like doggy style? There's nothing that a woman likes that a man didn't show her. I'm already a man, so I don't care what you like. You like what I like. I'll tell you what you like. And then you'll like it. Because you don't know what you like. Or you won't like it, and then we'll just eliminate that. You feel what I'm saying? What I say sounds misogynist. What I say sounds like whatever they want to call toxic masculinity, but it's not. It's pure, unadulterated rationale. Just true logic. The logic, the reason that so many people have a problem with Colin Kaepernick is logic. Why do you want a job that you quit and got paid severance pay for? Like, who does that? Who does that? What employer would look for you for a job that? How many colleges are there? How many A uh Division 1A colleges are there? 100 and something. So it's 100 and something because it's like what 10, 12 per conference, and it's like 10 conferences. So it's like 100 something. There's 100 and something starting quarterbacks in college that's looking to get in the pros. They're quarterbacks in the pros already that's trying to either maintain or find a new position. So at any given time, there's 150, 200 people looking to fulfill a job description. And I'm going to recruit you in the middle of the season to say, yo, you want to work out? That's not even how business works. Nobody takes an above average but not special talent that's disruptive to the workplace and says, you know what? You want to work here again? I know you sued me. You want to work here again? It doesn't make sense. For more pay and a better situation. But that is the well, maybe he is black because that's the most matriarchal thing I've ever heard in my life. I Colin Kaepernick is the Home Depot of quarterbacks. You just convinced me just now. I got a personal gripe with Home Depot. Here's my problem with Home Depot. Home Depot has everything that you need in order to take care of your project, right? But when you get there, it ain't nothing but black chicks working in the hood, and they don't know shit about lumber. The one on 87, the one on Pulaski and 95th, the one on 42nd and Western. No matter what Home Depot you go to, they have 20 employees, 16 are women, and none of them work. They working the shit out the four dudes that work there. They don't know how to cut lumber. They can't help you get your carpet. They don't know what tool is for what purpose. But I can walk in and there's 8 registers, but only 2 cashiers. But at one of them registers, there's 6 girls talking, and they talk about equal pay. And I'm like, you're not even doing equal work. Like, I hate Home Depot. I hate it. The customer service sucks. The customer support sucks. And why? Because a bunch of chicks. If my my man told me something real crazy, and I had to honor it because I had that beat. I told him my vent about Home Depot. He said what Home Depot should do is hire retired contractors in their 50s and 60s, hire them, and basically they can tell you what's going on. Like make Home Depot give it the same vibe as Ace Hardware has. But Ace don't have what I want. But they have great customer service and people know what they're talking about. But Home Depot is just full of. And here's something else. I know if I go to a job interview and a these are conversations me and my friends have. Like, yo, so who hires you? Gay people hire you. White people hire you. Every once in a while, a white woman will hire you because they have an affinity for black men. To you know what I'm saying? They feel like that's their reparations. Mexicans will hire you. They'll hire you last after no Mexicans are left. But if you ever have to go to a temp agency, Mexicans did a great job getting the contract so they can hire their own. I don't see Jesse Jackson doing that when they do all these protest parades. So everybody will hire you, but if you walk in the office and you see a black woman, just be like, you know what? It's not gonna work out for me unless you're gay. But they're trying to convince me that white supremacy is my enemy. Like I can't see the obvious. I've been a 6-figure dude 3 times. All 3 times I got set up and broke down, it was a black chick. All 3 times. I know how to manage my money, but I don't know that you're gonna break into my safe and go into the stash. I know how to operate my business, but I don't know that man. When I come back for some material, like I ain't know you needed that, I threw it away. I ain't know what it was, but you know what it was. Why the fuck you touch it? You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. So I had to understand that. Yo, I used to have a frustration. My frustration ended in 2018 when I realized that we're not. That I've never heard of a woman call herself an adult. You haven't either. No man has. They've your whole life, your mother, aunties, grandma, whoever, they've been grown. I'm grown. Never been an adult they life. You've never heard them call themselves an adult. And I registered that the toddler is silent. Like they really said, I'm a grown toddler. Like I'm an adult sized kid. But the toddler is silent, right? And once I realized that they have the emotional maturity of a toddler, I no longer got upset because they did things that an adult would not do. I, I had to realize that in my soul. So now when I see people champion Colin Kaepernick, I have to say, yo, that's some toddler stuff. Like what in the adult mind, there's nobody making $15 an hour. There's nobody making $30 an hour that will pull that. There's no person that has the courage of their conviction larger than the need for food and shelter. I gotta do the typology course. I got the whole course done. I don't know why I ain't uploaded it. But the whole purpose of the typology course is because I'm looking for people. And when I say I'm looking for people, I mean that sincerely. I I don't believe in a totality. I don't believe in a collective, right? Because collectives are stupid, right? But I do believe that every revolution in the world has been started by six people or less, with the exception of the American Revolution that was started by 52 people, but it was a big project, right? Six people. Cuba, you got the Castro brothers and Che Guevara. You know what I'm saying? The same thing can be said for Libya. The same thing could be said for Panama. Every nation had a revolution that started. You same thing for Chicago. Chicago had 21 15-year-olds start the Black Pete Stone Nation. One of them got cuffed and branched off and made the Gangster Disciples, but the 21 kids said, yo, we ain't going, fuck this shit. We ain't doing this shit. And now it's national. Now motherfuckers is doing the GD challenge from China, flying to the airport, throwing up a pitchfork on selfies and flying wherever they going. Of course, they don't come to the hood with it. You ain't know about the GD challenge? There's all cultural appropriation. GD is so cool that motherfuckers throw pitchforks. There's pictures of white boys graduating from Fordham University throwing up the pitchforks in their graduation pictures. Like I saw one with white boys at a wedding party, and the whole groomsman was throwing up pitchforks. You know what I'm saying? White girls throwing up pitchforks, people from France throwing up pitchforks. They'll hashtag where they from and then throw up the pitchforks. The GD challenge or the pitchfork challenge or some shit. And it's simply because everybody likes men. It doesn't matter what type of man you are, black man, white man, whatever. If you operate as men, people will gravitate towards you. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's something like being GD. When you look at what sells, you can yell white supremacy all day, but when you look at what sells, men sell stuff. You can count on two hands the amount of women that can sell a product or service. You got Ellen, Oprah, Martha Stewart, Flo from the Progressive commercials. Like you can name on two hands the amount of women that could actually sell a product or service. You feel me? But men sell everything. Let me but still, even with marketing. Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a Cheryl Swoop signature shoe? Have you ever seen a Cynthia Cooper signature shoe? Have you ever seen a little girl? The WNBA been around for 22 years now. Have you seen a 10-year-old girl in a WNBA jersey? I ain't never seen it. Have you ever seen a girl wearing a Serena Williams Nike shirt? Serena, the best tennis player on earth, right? She should be able to sell apparel, right? because women suck. But you can take a nondescript, no name basketball player and give him a signature shoe or a signature t shirt. I remember in golf, when I flew to Cali in the late 90s, and the Bulls were winning, and this was a sixth championship, and I had a Dennis Rodman jersey on. And I hopped off the plane, and my man said, "What, you a slob? You gonna get a shot, nigga. You like a blood." Took me to the mall, and I bought all linen outfits. And what did I get? The Greg Norman collection. 5 years later, went to the same store. Greg Norman ain't hot no more. The Tiger Woods collection. So even golfers can sell apparel. Tiger Woods got a video game where he did until his incident. Me and my man still got a PS2. We still gamble on Tiger Woods golf to this day. You know what I'm saying? Men move stuff. The reason that I'm dirty folks now is because I fell into the pro black narrative market wise for a minute. And I was looking for brand ambassadors. I was looking for models. I was looking for women who could be a face of a product. And of course, they black girls, so they break bad. They only do it until it feel like a job, and then they don't want to do it no more. You feel me? So I had this conversation. What I just told you came to me in a dream. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and that was in my head. You feel me? And I said, why am I looking for a female brand ambassador? I'll be the brand ambassador, and I'll sell toxic masculinity. And I say, I'll be dirty folks. I'll throw a pitchforks. I keep my hat cocked to the right. You know what I'm saying? I say the most ignorant, misogynistic shit, and I'm going to sell deodorant. And people love it. They like, yo, he's funny as shit. Because I'm silly. So they like, yo, we funny. And I remember I told my friends before I even did the videos, I was like, what up, folks? I was like, man, I'm finna do Dirty Folks. And they was upset. They was like, man, Dirty Folks is disrespectful. Because if you from Chicago, you know the nature of Dirty Folks was when the gang split up, the Blackstones and Vice Lords was the pretty boys, the light skinned niggas with the good hair, got the girls, and all the broke project ain't had shit niggas was GD. But it was way more GDs than Blackstones. But they was called dirty, like y'all dirty. So everybody just started calling them dirty folks. So it's a derogatory term. Dirty folks that get you hit in the mouth quicker than niggas. You know what I'm saying? And I flipped it the same way they took nigger. I flipped it and said, yo, I'm going to say dirty folks, but I'm going to be clean as shit. You know what I'm saying? And sell soap. And when they saw it, because the guys was on me for a minute, like, man, them guys gonna come fuck you up, man. You know, niggas ain't gonna honor that. But then when they saw it, they was like, yo, that's funny as shit, man. You on to something. So I became a brand ambassador using toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Yeah, it's a GD challenge. Next time, Google it. Google it or Facebook it or something. Put hashtag GD challenge, hashtag pitchfork challenge. Some gonna pop up. You'll see the pictures. It's been going on like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, yeah. It's really real. No bullshit. No chaser. So you can market anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's a built-in market because as a built-in market, you already been doing a GD challenge, and I slide in and say, "Yo, I'm the face of GD." Built-in market. You feel what I'm saying? And do it such a way that I don't catch a Fed case because I ain't really the face of GD, but it's good marketing. Man, look, if they Rico me for soap, God bless them. Like, man, you was selling too much soap and deodorant, my nigga. You got to bring in. but but it's the same. Hey, man, But it is what it is. But because men are tribal, if your tribe is Vice Lord or Blackstone or uh, Black Disciple or whatever your that's your tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like if you from anywhere, but I'm saying Chicago because I'm from Chicago, but I know it's the same everywhere gangs are sold. You know what area got what in it. I know what streets consist of Motown, and it's Blackstones there, Terrortown, Boys Town, Sixth Ward. You know what I'm saying? The Ville, motherfucking Princeton Park. I know what's Foster Park. I know what's there before I get there. Whether I feel like being bothered with that, whether I'm gonna wear a hat that day, I know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because you have carved your tribe and say, yo, this is our village. There is nothing proprietarily tribal about a color. There's nothing you unifying about black. That's why you can. I'm back to the Tylerology. That's how I know that people who pass, because it's actually going to be a Tyler certification course. People who pass the course, I'm gonna put on to other money situations. But I gotta know that you're not a Tyler, but for me to deal with you. We've been on the phone for a minute, man. Let's try to wrap this up, man. Anything else on your mind, bro? I don't. You know what? I'm going to agree, but I'm gonna disagree for one reason. I don't think Jay gets it if everybody else doesn't, which I know is your point, but I'm saying I'm spinning it to say it took a minor urban boycott in order for them to get brought to the table. My thing is, I have a Jay Z problem, right? My Jay Z problem isn't even about Jay Z. My Jay Z problem, or let's not say problem. My Jay Z thing is Jay Z has marketed himself in such a way that he's the only rapper that 65-year-old white men know. You know what I'm saying? He's a name brand dude and he got a name brand wife. And they look at logistics and say, yo, we'll deal with Jay Z because he's name brand. That doesn't mean that Puffy wouldn't be better in that position. It doesn't mean that Chuck D wouldn't be better in that position. It just means that if they got to deal with a token Negro, he's the shiniest token, which is good marketing. Which is good marketing to have that type of influence because you got to understand that Jay Z has never been a good boss ever. Jay Z is not a leader. Jay Z has never created anything besides songs. Jay Z gets a lot. it was Dame Dash at Rock, and he did the liquor deals and the clothing deals. That was Dame. Then when Jay Z got promoted to Def Jam, he didn't create Def Jam either. But yet and still he got a president slot, really just to shit on Dame. And then they only dropped two projects the whole time he was there that sold, which was his and not Sierra. What's that girl name? Uh, Rihanna. They only have five selling albums, and two of them was grandfathered in because Jeezy and Rick Ross already had projects on Def Jam that just didn't drop yet when Jay Z got the slot. So Jeezy dropped and he sold. Rick Ross dropped and he sold, and Jay Z got credit for it. But that was on Kevin Lyle's watch when they got signed. You know what I'm saying? Jay Z only put money behind Rihanna and himself. He gave Nas some money just as a peace offering, but Nas' album ain't really go nowhere. Nas cut the whole bread because he ain't drop a dime on marketing. So Jay Z was not a good president. Jay Z got the 40/40 Club as part of the settlement with Rockefeller. They took everything from Dame. The Armadale liquor, the rock, everything. So everything Jay got was somebody else's. Then Jay being a well branded name and being from Brooklyn, when they needed to regentrify and kick hella people out of Brooklyn. You know how many houses were lost in Brooklyn for them to put the what's the name of that center that the Brooklyn Nets play at now? The I can't think of the name of it. But for them to build that, they had to relocate and dislocate a lot of people. But Jay Z is the face, and all Jay Z saying is, "Yo, we bringing the Nets back to Brooklyn, baby." And they put him in as the owner, but he was a 2% owner and had to sell a 1% stake for them to get to Brooklyn. So he's a 1% owner, but he's telling people he owns the Nets. You know what I'm saying? Then he decides to start his own sports sports agency, which was really just a holding deal for him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else ran a sports agency, but they said, "Jay, we need you to be the face again. Put a couple of dollars in this holding account." Right? So he had to sell his 1% stake he had left in the Nets because you can't be an owner and run an agency. Right? So now he's free to do what? Join 100-year-old league in the NFL as the entertainment director, basically. He don't call no shots. He ain't part of operations. You know what I'm saying? You just do the halftime shows. Which, to be perfectly honest, is a win for the NFL because they're an entertainment league, but they're not an entertainment agency. They don't handle music. You feel what I'm saying? And since Jay Z already had a rapport with the licensing companies, and I posted this yesterday on Facebook too, that everybody talk about ownership, but most of entertainment is licensing. Like that's why you play NBA 2K and you hear rappers you ain't never heard of before, but they still filthy rich because they getting 3 cents per game and motherfuckers selling like 10 million, games. So if you give me 3 cents off 10 million, you know what I'm saying? I'm straight. And if you a known act like JD um or Jay Z, you might get 35 cents to a dollar. What's a dollar off of 10 million games? $10 million, and you ain't even on tour. Then he got the Samsung deal, which is the only reason his shit is selling, because Samsung is giving him free downloads, a million free downloads, so he going platinum because niggas got a phone. Jay is being put in position to be Jay. Jay has great marketing because he still markets himself as Jay from Marcy Projects, but he's not that, and he shouldn't be. You're supposed to evolve as a man. But the NFL, it was a good move for him because now they get to have that quote unquote street cred, and And he has a good ear for. Well, no, he doesn't. He don't really have a good ear for music. Dame had a good ear for music. Because as soon as he left Dame, his next two albums was garbage until he hooked back up with Kanye. But great marketing. So Jay gonna be all right. And it wouldn't have happened without Jay. But I think it could have been anybody. I think that no matter what happened, Jay-Z name was pulled out of hat first. But I think it was gonna be a black artist, regardless, that was gonna get that slot in order to appease the wokey wokes. What's it called? The Galilean dialectic? The Gillian dialectic? Galilean? Gillian? Um yeah, pressure from above, pressure from below. Squeeze them in the middle. Hegelian. It's an H on it. Hegelian dialectic. Yeah, pressure from above, pressure from below. He played the game. And Jay Z is at that part that he has handlers, but nobody talks about Jay Z having handlers. So, there's certain ways he got to move, but they going to make sure he's straight. And, he's in that Will Smith level of you can do a movie like, you know, 6 pounds or 8 pounds, whatever it was, and still be a star. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's, it's, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Just have to maintain. He just has to maintain. He can't never quit. He can't never turn his back. He can't never tell anybody, you know what I'm saying, that he's not gonna do something, or he gonna get that Martha Stewart. This would have been, yeah, I was saying Facebook would have been real hot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that would have been a hot move. Maybe we'll do it on YouTube. I'll put it on the channel. I ain't really got no viewers on the channel though, but do it on the channel then post it on Facebook, something like that. But man, it was great. This is a great show. Not chopping school. This is gonna be live. This is a great show. It's great. I don't know. I don't get no feedback. I don't promote either, but we'll see what happens. uh, I don't have any, man. I don't plan on cooking, and I don't have much family in Chicago anymore. And you know what I'm saying? I don't have no toddlers, so probably just I when I was a kid, I used to house hop, but now I don't even know if I'm a house hop. We older now. People got families of their own, so we'll figure it out. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll come out to Milwaukee and find a friend. Oh man, all my family flying they going out of town for Thanksgiving. I'm just not going because I'm not. I got a family full of women, so I'm not really big on family. No, no, it is what it. You gotta understand this, man. Make this pardon, but you gotta understand this. Every family has to have a scapegoat, right? And that scapegoat will always be a man. Always. You have two choices as a man. You can say, okay, if it's my fault, it's my fix. So sit your ass down and put it on your shoulders, or you can smoke crack. So, I'm just being dead ass. When you see dudes, all they do is smoke weed or smoke crack all day and all that shit, just getting drunk, that's because they have the pressure, but they can't handle the pressure. I was built to handle the pressure because I realized at a very young age that girls are stupid. I realized at a very early age that I was smarter than most people in my family. You see the shows like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader and grown 40-year-old people? Yeah. So I knew then, like, yo, y'all can't even help me with my homework. Like, who the fuck is you to tell me something? And the family felt like, you know, patriarchs in our family didn't do a good job at keeping me on the plantation. So now everything, and you know, you see this now. Every piece of logic is you hate women. It's never it's logic for logic's sake. It's never I pulled a CDC report, you know what I'm saying, US.gov reports. I got news clips. I got all this proof. I'm showing my work. It's like, no, that's not how I feel though, so it's not true. That's that's tolerance. That's matriarchy. It's a bunch of tolerance. So until you can get past that and just get to the common core truth, we can't even have a discussion. I can be wrong. Anybody can be wrong. I can be wrong, but you have to show me where I'm wrong. You have to show your work. And then we can, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. And, you know, you were right. But you can't tell me how you feel. This is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, so we're going to make something happen, man. Man, hopefully so. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. We'll work it out, man. So, yeah, until next time, man, we're going to do another one soon. I'm sure something else will come up. All right. Welcome to the Dirty Folks Podcast. Because of problems with the app, you can only hear one side of the audio, but it's still phenomenal information, phenomenal conversation. So enjoy this podcast.